Cool. So what I wanted to do today is actually not do the open office hours, but just talk about the concept of doing the open office hours and just make sure we're on the same page. If any questions had to be answered, or if there's any questions that came up, or having a discussion or concerns around it. What I'd love to do is start doing an open office hours next week. And we can, the real deep motivation behind trying to do this is trying to help us move through our backlog of open community contributions faster. And so if we can help people with any outstanding questions, because sometimes async is just, there's async is awesome, but sometimes it just takes a little bit longer for have a conversation or to answer a question. But also we can create this artifact that we can have Steve or Tomas or Georgi go through a review, and people can see the sort of things that we look at, see our thought process, see the habits we go through. Then like it's easy enough if they want to, they can go and mimic that themselves and make sure that those kind of like boxes have been checked. Excuse me. And so I would love for us just to be able to like set people up to like be able to see what we're going to do for reviews. Ask any questions, like just to join in, and like Darren and I and the engineers are also on the call. Then like, hey, like I'm thinking of opening an MR to build this feature. Like, what do you guys think? Like, what are the concerns? Like, this is something that's interesting. Because it's really a shame sometimes we do get these MRs and it's not something we want to accept, and someone's put a lot of work into. So if we can avoid that, I think that's going to be a better experience. If we have a conversation and be a bit more, it's a bit easier to be a bit more human in person on the call than on an issue when we're having to say like, hey, sorry, thanks, but I'm not gonna, we can't really pull us in for whatever reason. And then third and finally, the ultimate goal I would have for us to do this. Sorry, yeah, I'm in a coffee shop and it's very loud music. If I had a volume out, I'd turn it way down. The third and final goal I would have for this is to, if we could actually have community members that are contributing also participate in reviews to help us kind of parallelize and get some more bandwidth there, that'd be awesome. Like our team is growing, and we're going to get more bandwidth that way, but anyone can review, just like anyone can contribute, anyone can review. And so if we can kind of give people the framework, like here's the things we look for, here's our guidelines for how we do review, then that'd be like an ultimate goal. I mean, that'd be super cool. I don't know if that's something to really like be concerned about right now. But what I wanted to do today is just talk through, so there's a agenda doc, or not an agenda doc, there's kind of a concept document linked in this calendar invite, outlining kind of the idea of what this would look like. I just wanted to get everyone together and talk through it, any questions, poke any holes at it, and then we could propose doing an actual first real one next week. So I think, Ray, there might have been a bit of confusion there. I think you thought.
Yeah, no, maybe it's possible that I jumped the gun, but I mean, I think even this is good for like a first iteration, because I mean you want I think the topics and ideas that you suggested are good ones, and we talked about this I think before the holidays. But I mean, there obviously we may have missed something, so Pierre or others have other ideas, and just having a regular cadence on this. I mean, I don't know what the right cadence is. It's like once a month or once a quarter or however often that we want to do it. But having this more open conversations that people can participate in or even watch later on, I think it's very valuable. And I think, people have seen Steve or Tomas and others from like on MRs, but to at least to see people's faces, even if it's on the computer screen, I think that's helpful. And to build a relationship. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, just for the sake of anyone watching this recording, and if we do post it somewhere where this document might not be easy to find, let me just kind of walk through the document I'm referring to, which is just like this outline of this idea. And then anyone on the call, if you have any questions or concerns or ideas that come up for each piece, just like shout it out there.
Maybe you can share your screen, Elliot. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a thing. Sorry, I keep forgetting how computers work after being off for a little while. So, am I sharing the right screen?
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, this is actually an idea that I think we came up with in the spring, or started talking about with some people, and just kind of in the last few months, I kind of realized that there might be some real cool benefits that are worth doing, and I think we're kind of at the point where we could take this on. So the goal is really to create this kind of like open office hours concept where ideally it's like I don't know, the formatting piece is comes up a bit later. So something like an open Zoom link where anyone can join in. There's maybe an hour on a regular kind of cadence that the community is aware of, and people can just come and ask us questions about like, how would I do this, or like, I have some review questions, or what's going on here from the engineering team, and potentially, hopefully, the product, our product member here, Darren, and just to be able to answer any questions about contributing, making a community contribution to the Runner project. If there's no one joining, you know, if it's kind of like dead air, our kind of like backup plan then would be to have one of our engineers basically do a live review of one of our existing community contributions, so that people can kind of watch what that's going through. Again, take a look at like what we're doing, like what we're looking for, how we even like just do little things like, hey, there's a pipeline, a job in the pipeline failing. How do we actually go and figure out what's actually going on there? So there's some like little tidbits that can come up there. My first pass idea was just to do the kind of the closed version where we're only doing the live review. I don't know if that's necessary. I don't know. I think I was just kind of being a bit maybe cautious about it, but yeah, that was my idea. Like to do a closed one next week, and then do a second one that's like completely open to the community. Anyone can join the call and ask us questions and chat. As the second one, but I don't know if there's any. Looking at this now, I can't even remember why I was trying to be cautious in that way. So, we do have a hackathon coming up on February 12th. So I thought it'd be great to have one either like right in line with that or right before that. I think that'd be really cool to help create some activity and interest there, but also like support people that want to participate in contributing to the hackathon for the Runner project. So yeah, we could do one during or before. I'd love to do a first kind of real one, whether it's closed or open, next week. So that's the week of January 13th, 2020. Then maybe do another one in January, and then another one in February, or just do one once a month. I think a regular cadence to me that makes sense is probably a monthly one. Quarterly seems too infrequent. I feel like it wouldn't really. I feel like each one. I feel like there wouldn't be enough momentum between them. It'd be kind of like, hey, this is the thing we do, and it'd be really easy to kind of lose that momentum just by missing one of them for some reason, whether it's holidays or contributor or something like that. Yeah. So who is part of it? Myself, our PM, Darren, and at least one of the backend engineers for Runner. Right now we have 3: Steve, Tomas, and Georgi. And then, yeah, so, and then obviously like Ray or someone else from the community team, and really anyone, like it's open, so anyone from either the company can join as well. The how is where I'm quite fuzzy on it. Like, is the easiest way to do this is to publish a Zoom link? Is it to do some other thing, like, I don't know, live stream to YouTube, but then it's only interactive with the chat, so I don't know on the formatting. And then ultimately, the idea is definitely to record these and publish them so that they're reviewable and people can look back on them and see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I added my thoughts there. I mean, whether it's Zoom or, I mean, I've never gotten the live stream to work for some reason, but I mean, as far as I can tell, it just saves you one step of having to like upload stuff. Whether you do just a regular Zoom session or live stream. So and then like you said, with the live streaming, the ability for people to sort of ask questions when they join the live streaming is pretty limited. They have to type stuff in chat. So, I mean, if you just start with the Zoom session, I think that's fine. I mean, we've done this, for well over a year on our hackathon tutorials, and they work well. Just my suggestion is just create a playlist, either on filtered or unfiltered, and then just post everything in the same playlist so people can find them easily. So, I mean, that's just the only suggestion I have, but I think it's completely fine to just start with Zoom. I have like Darren and others kind of chime in here with their thoughts, but.
No, yeah, that makes sense. I think the benefit of also adding a live stream to YouTube is that I think it becomes more accessible to people. Like, someone just wants to follow along and like watch it. There's no client they have to install. You can just kind of tune in and listen to what's going on. Whereas with Zoom, you have to install a different client. It's just a bit heavier of a process, or from a participation or passive participation point of view. But creating a playlist on a folder is a great idea. Any other thoughts, ideas, questions, concerns?
I mean, one idea for like next week, I mean, I think you sort of touched on this too, like when we kick this off, and I mean, actually both Pierre and I will be at the commit like Monday, Tuesday next week. So if it's like later in the week, I think, I don't know, Pierre, when you're going back home, but that would help Pierre participate. And one of the topics I think would be helpful, I mean, you talked about backlogs. Like if you can just look at community contribution to have like a priority, like a label 1 or even 2, and then see the volume that you guys are dealing with. And I think, I mean, I think both you and Steve mentioned in the past, I mean, there were some MRs that takes like several hours to like go through, like even if it's just one MR, it's not just a quick check-in that can be done in like 20, 30 minutes. I think that would be helpful for community members. To see what you guys go through, and then why certain things take a lot more time than people realize.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I think so. I think it'd be really interesting to look at kind of a variety of types of MRs. Fortunately, we have so many to choose from that we can probably pull that off. And Steve, you and I can go ahead and. I'm assuming, Steve, you'll participate in this because you're here on this call right now, and you've been keen about this idea since we started talking about it. But you and I can take a look and like kind of pre-select some of the MRs to look at. It'd be really cool to do like a super small one, like there's a couple of small things that are like really easy to like get done and take a look at in a short amount of time. And then start to work through a bigger one that we can't actually finish a review on in the remaining time. As for timing, like I think kind of what makes sense for me, well, I think Friday is kind of would kind of work. That's typically when Steve does most of his community reviews anyway. It's usually when I have a bit more free time, just based on the way all our team members are structured and our meetings fall. And so if we would do Friday morning North American time, that would be in the evening on Western Central European time. Time of day is kind of tricky. Like, I don't know when the best time of day for that would be. I don't want to go too late into the morning. So I'm on the West Coast, North America, for context. Steve is in Malta, which is UTC +1, I think, right now. And so right now on this call, it's just about 9 a.m. West Coast time, West Coast North American time in 6 p.m. for you, Steve? Just about?
6, yeah.
Yeah, so if we did like 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., that's 5 to 6 p.m. for you. So you don't have to answer right now if that's an okay idea to do on a Friday. I know that Fridays aren't. Nobody wants to work late on a Friday, but we can kind of play around with that. I'm totally happy to. I usually start my day a bit earlier than that, so we could even do a bit earlier. But then we're getting into the rest of the. If anyone's live and wants to join the call, are they going to be available for it? So we'll probably have to play around with that. We can kind of take that offline and figure out some ideas. But I'd propose next Friday morning and try and make that the kind of normal thing. Darren asked a question in the chat about how do we announce this and how do we get availability out there to the wider community? Like, how do we let people know that this is something they can do? Ray said that Twitter works pretty well, especially when the official GitLab account does a retweet. And Pierre brings up it makes sense to send an email to all the current community MR owners. I wonder how easy that is to pull out that information.
Yeah, I mean, I try to do some of that. Like obviously I know people like Pierre and other people that have been contributing. So I directly ping them, via email. But I mean, it's sort of like, best effort, right? I mean, I just go to like a runner project contribution and look at the names. So that's, and I mean, I think it initially makes sense, at least get the word out, and then, point them to a Twitter link, so that they're aware of it and they know to watch for that in the future. We probably, I mean, I'll be happy to add it to, our community handbook page. Like, I can create a section on like office hours and, add a link on. But I mean, feel free to, Elliot, you should feel free to do that too in your page. But
sure.
So, yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty easy to actually just via the API look at all the merge requests and then look at the email of the user. If it's gitlab.com, and then you skip it, and if it's other thing, then you send an email to that. So we do that all the time as I'm owning a GitLab instance, so a lot of experience in GitLab API. I can provide a Python script if you need it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, I think that's a good idea. There is a lot of, I'd be curious even just to look at the list of contributors. I think I've never actually filtered down by how many of our outstanding, like, open community contributions are from repeat authors, like how many. That'd be a good way of looking at that too. Ray also posted in here in the chat that another way is the GitLab HQ contributors channel on Gitter. So we'll share it there. I think internally I'll start a Slack channel just to kind of focus up this discussion. If there's anything related internal, you can put them there too. But yeah, any other kind of questions or thoughts or ideas around this?
Yeah, should we add this to the handbook somewhere so we can start discussing it async at least?
Yeah. Where?
I think we mentioned a community handbook. Can we use that?
Yeah, I mean, I can start something on the community, because I mean, there's another product team that's interested in doing this on the packaging side of things. So, I mean, I'll create a generic blurb about like office hour. This is something that we're trying to do, and then for more details on the runner office hours, you guys can create a section in the runner, like a runner team handbook page, and I can just provide a link there.
Okay.
I mean, I can start a first iteration on that and see how that will work. But
yeah, that sounds good. Just do that and then I guess ping us on it.
Yep.
Cool. Anything else? Any other ideas, concerns, questions? Any hesitation with doing this next Friday at some time to be determined?
Yeah, works for me. But I mean,
when is commit? Is it Monday next week?
It's Tuesday. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, either Thursday or Friday works for me. Like, I mean, Pierre, when do you get back home? Like, I can't remember.
Yeah, works for me as well. I get back home on Wednesday, and so Thursday I would be at the office, no problem.
Right.
And Friday is fine too,
Right.
as long as it's not too late in the night for Europe.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing for Tomas and Steve too. If it's like 6 p.m. Friday, that may not be that fun. But
yeah, exactly. And that's a good word to call out, Ray. Like, I think one of the reasons I'm excited about this is because I think it will be a lot of fun to just to take a look at this and do this very, very collaboratively. But yeah, I'm leaning towards probably like the 8 to 9 a.m. window, or maybe 8 to 9 a.m. window, my time zone, the West Coast time zone. Because that way, if there is anyone on the West Coast who wants to join, it's not unreasonable. And most developers on the West Coast don't start work at that time. But then it does encapsulate, or reasonably encapsulate, I think, a lot of the others. Anyway, yeah, we can nail that down in Slack. Cool. Okay, well, thanks everyone. Sorry for the confusion about like the intent of this call.
No. I mean, I think, I don't know why you're like, I mean, I think this is perfect. Like, even how the process of how this is being planned is helpful for the community members too. So cool. Yeah, once you have the recording posted, just let me know. So.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks everybody. Cheers.
Bye.